Hello students, after doing the basic definition of electric current, now today we will study about the law related to the flow of a electric current. We have seen that if the current is steady, I is equal to Q by T, where Q is the amount of charge flowing through the cross section of the conductor, which is held normal to the flow of the charges per unit time. And if the current is unsteady, then I is equal to, or instantaneous current is equal to dq by dt. That we have seen. Now the basic law related to the flow of current is the Ohm's law. So this basic law we have already studied in standard 10th. Now let us revise this basic law which is related to the flow of a electric current. Now this law states that, now we know that in order to make the charge flow from one end to another, we have to create an electric field or we have to develop a potential difference. So the positive terminal, or we take a help of a cell or a battery, due to which the electrons of a conductor move in a specific direction or they move opposite to the direction of the electric field intensity. So we establish the electric current, we establish the electric field. As a result, the force act on an electron and conventional current flow from the positive terminal to the negative terminal, where V is the potential difference or simply a voltage of a cell. Now scientist Ohm found that if V is increased, then I also increase in direct proportion. So for example, let us take a table. If no battery is connected, that is V is 0, the current flowing through the conductor is 0, because we know that all electrons are in the random motion, and on an average the number of electrons flowing through the cross section of a conductor towards one side is equal to the number of electrons flowing through the same conductor in the opposite direction. So the net amount of charge through that cross section comes out to be 0. So when V is 0, or you can say when electric field is 0, I is 0. That we already know. Now suppose the battery of 5 volt is connected and let the current is 1 ampere. Though you have to remember that 1 ampere is a very large unit, because we know 1 ampere current will flow when 1 coulomb of charge will flow through the cross section of a conductor in 1 second. And we know 1 coulomb consists of many number of electrons, or a large number of electrons, that was about 10 raised to 19 electrons. So ampere is a very large unit. Now the battery voltage is doubled, say 10 volt, the current is found to be 2 ampere, then 15 volt, that is 3 ampere. So according to Ohm's law, whenever the voltage is increased, the current flowing through the circuit increase in a direct proportion. So we write the law as the current flowing through the cross section of conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across two ends of conductor. It means more is the potential difference across the two ends of the conductor, more will be the current flowing through that conductor. That is, V is proportional to I, similar to the Q was proportional to V in the case of a capacitor. So there also the relation was in a direct proportion. As the amount of charge on the plate was increasing, the potential difference between the two plates was increasing. There we were increasing Q, correspondingly V was increasing. Here V increases V, correspondingly the current flowing through the conductor keeps on increases, because if V increases, the potential difference across these two ends, say A and B, increases, or the electric field increases. More is the electric field, more is the force QE act on the electron in the opposite direction. So they will move from one end to the another. So V is directly proportional to I, and therefore V is equal to, we know that removing the proportionality sign, we have to introduce a constant, that is, say, R. Now this constant of proportionality, R, is called as the resistance of conductor. So R is called as resistance of conductor, and you have to remember it is a constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality means its value remains constant, or it is independent of V and I, same as what we have done in the chapter 2. Q was equal to CV. So C does not depend on Q and V, but C depends on the dimension of the capacitor, shape and size, or the medium between the two plates. Similarly, here R will not depend on V and I. This equation this equation 1 can be written as V upon I. Now if we calculate the resistance of this conductor, that is V upon I, so that is 0 upon 0, 5 upon 1, 10 upon 2, 15 upon 3. So you will get the same value, that is 5, and the SI unit will become volt per ampere. So this R is a constant of proportionality. In fact, it does not depend on V and I, because as V increase, the amount of current flowing through the cross section will also increase, or the amount of electrons, we will see that electrons are responsible, or the charge carrier or a mobile charge carrier in the case of a conductor. So the conductor consists of free electron. So the electric current is due to the motion of the free electron in the case of metals or conductor. In the case of liquid or electrolyte, it is the motion of the positive and negative ion. So the SI unit of the resistance is, so SI unit is volt per ampere, which is known as ohm and denoted by a symbol omega. So the SI unit of the resistance is ohm, or we denote it by a symbol omega. Dimensional formula is left as an exercise. Now we know that V is equal to work upon charge divided by ampere, that is current. So for a V, I write work upon charge, that is work done to move a unit positive charge. And for a current, the dimension can be written as A1. So this you can do yourself. The dimensional formula of Q can be written as A1 T1. So Q can be written as A1 T1. So use A1 T1 come down, and work you know that it is M1 L2 T minus 2. So you substitute all this and find out its dimensional formula. It is left as an exercise. So this is the introduction of a resistance. We will come to this resistance again at a microscopic level, that how the resistance or a new term resistivity is originated whenever the electrons move from one end to the another. Now the basic things, this is called a resistance. the reciprocal of a resistance is called conductance, that is 1 upon R is called conductance. Though the symbol is not fixed, we denote it by capital G, that is not a fixed symbol. So the reciprocal of resistance, that is, as the name suggests, resistance means to resist. What is resisted? The motion of the electrons will be resisted, and by basic introduction we know that this conductor also consists of the ions, positive ions, which are oscillating about its main position. So they have to collide, or they will collide with the ions, and this gives rise to a term resistance or a new term resistivity. So capital G is 1 upon R, that is the reciprocal of resistance is called conductance. SI unit of G, so it should be the reciprocal. So if you say volt per ampere, it should become ampere per volt, which is known as, here volt upon ampere is called ohm. So either you say it is ohm inverse, or the opposite of ohm spelling, that is mho, MHO, and the symbol is inverted omega. So either you say reciprocal of resistance, that is ohm inverse, or in words also we write the ohm spelling in a opposite order, that is mho, and it is denoted by omega. So these are the general points. Then you have to remember that as temperature of conductor or metals, as temperature of conductor increases, the resistance also increases. The resistance will also increase. So we will see that suppose the battery is connected, that is say 5 volt and 1 ampere of current is flowing. Now there is a force acting on it inside the conductor. The electrons are accelerated in the direction opposite to the electric field, and the force acting is QE. Now suppose I start up heating this conductor, or I increase the temperature of a conductor. So this electron having the force QE, they will get additional thermal energy also, or a heat energy, and they will try to accelerate, and as they try to accelerate, they will collide more frequently, or the collision will be more in less interval of time, and as a result the resistance also increases. We will prove this statement with the help of a formula by introducing a new term which will be called as resistivity. So in fact, the resistance, instead of directly depending upon the temperature, it generally depends on the dimension of the conductor. So it does not depend on V and I. You have to remember this. Any conducting material resistance does not depend on V and I, because as we keep on increasing V, I will also keep on increasing. So R depends on, one is indirectly they depends on the temperature, but the R depend, so factors on which R depend, or the value of R depends on, number one, dimension of conductor. Dimension of conductor, that will be the length and the cross-sectional area of the conductor. So one is this, and again indirectly they will depend on the type of a material of a conductor. For example, the resistance of a copper is different from the resistance of silver or a gold or any other metal. So it depends on the type of a material as well. It depends on the length and the cross-sectional area of the conductor through which I is flowing or across which V is created or across which the potential difference is created. So remember, R does not depend on V and I. In fact, it depends on the dimension of the conductor as well as the type of a material, and indirectly we can say it also depends on the temperature of a conductor. Now let us see the factors on which the value of R depend. So consider a case where we have one cross section or a conductor having the cross sectional area A and the length is L. Now the resistance of this is denoted by R. Let the resistance of this conductor is R. So let R be the resistance of conductor having length L and cross-sectional area A. See, the resistance will depend on this cross-section. The broader is the area, less will be the resistance. The narrow or smaller is the area, more will be the resistance. So it is common that resistance, suppose the electric field is in this direction, so electron always flow opposite to the direction of the electric field intensity. So suppose this is a situation, by common sense, if through this cross section say 3 electrons can come out all together. Now depending upon this area, if we keep on increasing the cross-sectional area, that is broader is the cross-sectional area, instead of 3 electrons coming up all together, there will be more than 3. And if I keep this as narrow, then few electrons will come out at a time from this conductor. So we will also see that the resistance will be inversely proportional to the area. And as far as the length is concerned, if I increase the if I double the length and I establish an electric field or connect the same battery, the electron have to flow double distance. So suppose the battery is of 5 volt. Now if I increase the length of this conductor, I double it. So battery has the same strength, that is 5 volt. Now that electron has to cover the double the length. Double the length means their collision or their number of collisions will increase, and therefore the resistance will be directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to the area as far as the dimensions are concerned. Now let us say that the resistance of this is R is equal to V upon I. That is, V is the potential difference of a battery and I is the current flowing through it. Now suppose we take 2 identical conductors. We take 2 identical conductors and connect it in a line. So this is L, this is L. The cross-sectional area is same. So this portion is one cross-section, say cross-section number 2, and this is the cross-section number 1. And the same battery is connected. So this have a potential difference of V. This have a potential difference of V. Another identical conductor is also connected. Now if I want the same amount of current, then the potential difference of this should also be V, and therefore the total potential difference should become 2V. The total potential difference should become 2V. So if I need the same R, the battery voltage should become double because the length has been increased. So if this battery has a potential difference across it to be V, then this 2 conductor connected in a line or say in series, like we have connected a capacitors in series. So we also know that when we connect a capacitor in a series, the potential difference is different. So here potential difference should become double if I want the same amount of the current. So in this situation, V is the potential difference of this conductor and V is the potential difference of this conductor. So I have to connect 2V battery. Now as far as the current is concerned, if I connect a battery, there I connected a battery of V volt, here I am connecting a battery of 2 volt. Now current in both the current in both the conductors remain same. So there will be no division of the current. So let I be the current flowing through this cross section of the conductors. Now the resistance of this combination RC should be equal to, if I apply the Ohm's law, it should be 2V by I. It should be 2V by I, or you say R1 is the potential difference, R1 is a resistance, so it becomes V upon I, R2 is a resistance, then it becomes again V upon I, so it becomes 2V upon I. Now V upon I is equal to R. So for this combination, the resistance is doubled. It means the resistance is directly proportional to the length. The resistance is directly proportional to the length. So if I increase the length, the resistance of the conductor also increases, and by common sense also they have to collide more as compared to the initial situation. Now I need the same amount of current. So the only option left is I have to double the battery. So first factor is R is directly proportional to L. Let's consider the another situation or the other factor. Now we take this cross section and we divide it into two parts. So I make it a half like this. So here the two conductors were kept like in a series. Now here the two conductors will be connected parallel to each other, but this same conductor have a cross section half, because we have to see now when we change a area whether the resistance changes. From this it was clear that when I change the length to 2L, the resistance is doubled. So now let us assume this cross section is cut along its axis. So situation is like this. So same cross sections, but this is A by 2, this is A by 2. Now it is connected with a battery V. Now, so it is a parallel combination, the two identical resistors. This is the symbol for a resistor. This is the symbol for a resistors. Like we have a symbol for cell, battery and a capacitor. And this is the situation now. Now this cross section has been half. Now when the current, we have a V battery, same battery, so current is I. Now here it is a junction. So current will be divided into two parts, and in parallel combination of capacitor we have seen that the potential difference remains same, but the amount of charge distributed becomes half if the capacitor is identical. Same thing is applicable here. Instead of a charge we have a current flowing through the circuit. So if R dash is the resistance of each cross section, so I will write now R dash is equal to, now say R dash is a resistance of each slab. R dash is a resistance of each slab. So in this situation, the potential difference across this is V only, but the current flowing through this, after division, the current becomes I by 2, and here also the current becomes I by 2. So for each slab or each cross section, for each conductor or each cross section, we can write R dash is equal to voltage is V and the current is I by 2. So it becomes 2V by I. Now V upon I is R, so again it becomes 2R. It means the resistance is doubled when the cross section is half. So R is inversely proportional to the area. Smaller is the cross sectional area, more is the resistance. So if the area is half, the resistance becomes double. And if the length is double, so like this, it is a conductor, this is a conductor. They are kept in a line. So I need I amount of current flowing through it. So I have connected the battery to be 2 volt. So it should cover a 2 length L and L. So in this situation, the resistance was doubled. So when I increase the length, it becomes double. Now this cross section is cut along its axis. So this cross section becomes half. Clearly, if the cross section becomes narrow, the electron will find more difficulty to flow freely or coming out from the cross section. So the resistance is double. So half is the area, resistance is double. So this is the situation. Now combining both these properties on both the factors, I can write that resistance is directly proportional. I can write that resistance is directly proportional to length and inversely proportional to the area. So R does not depend on V and I, but R depend on length and area. Therefore, R is equal to, now again we are removing the proportionality sign and we write a constant of proportionality denoted by rho L by A. Now this rho is called the resistivity of the material. This rho is called resistivity of a material. So again we will see that this resistivity does not depend on length and the area. So if you have a copper conductor, say this, if I cut it into half, the length is half. If I cut it across its axis or along the axis, its area becomes half. So resistivity will remain constant for this. So whenever constant of proportionality comes, as we know, I remove the constant of proportionality sign and I am calling this as constant of proportionality, which is named as resistivity. So rho will not depend on length and length and the area. So if I have a material copper, even if I increase its length or decrease its length, increase its area or decrease its area, the resistivity will remain constant for a particular material. Copper have different resistivity, silver have different resistivity. So it does not depend on L and A. Like R was introduced when we removed the proportionality sign from V and I. Same way C does not depend on Q and V, because when we removed the proportionality sign between Q and V, C was introduced. So rho does not depend on length and the area. You have to remember this. So it will depend on the temperature at which the material is kept or the pressure applied. So we will see that resistivity depends on temperature and pressure, not on the length and the area. However, let us name this constant of proportionality as a resistivity of a material. So rho can be written as RA upon L. Now SI unit of rho. So we know the resistance have a unit ohm, area meter square, upon length is a meter. So unit becomes ohm meter. Dimensional formula is again left as an exercise. Whatever answer you get for a resistance, you add L1 in it. So it will becomes a dimensional formula for a resistivity. So resistivity again does not depend on length and the area. In fact, we will say it depends on the temperature and the pressure of the material. So this is a resistivity. Now the reciprocal of resistance was called conductance. So reciprocal of the resistivity will be referred as the conductivity. So we have conductivity symbol as sigma. Now the sigma was also a surface charge density. So in electrostatic, sigma stands for the surface charge density. In current electricity, it stands for conductivity. Rho there stands for volume charge density. So we have same symbol. The name is changed in this branch. So sigma is the reciprocal of the resistivity. The reciprocal of the resistivity is called conductivity. This is called as conductivity. Now, SI unit. So either I can write ohm meter inverse, that is its reciprocal, or ohm inverse is written as mho inverted omega meter inverse. So I read this as mho per meter, mho per meter, or I can say per ohm meter, or reciprocal of a ohm meter. So this is the basic information about the factors on which R depend, and a new term resistivity, and the reciprocal of the resistivity is called as the conductivity. Now let us derive an equation. J is equal to sigma E vector, or sometimes we call this equation as a microscopic Ohm's law. Now before we come to this equation, this J vector is a new physical quantity which is called as current density, Now current density is defined as I am writing its magnitude. J is equal to I by A, that is current flowing through the cross section of the conductor per unit area. So say its unit, SI unit. From SI unit it will be more clear. SI unit is ampere per meter square. So if I take a cross section of 1 meter square, let the area of this cross section is 1 meter square. So if I say the current density is 5 ampere per meter square, it means if the cross sectional area is 1 meter square, the current flowing through it is 5 ampere. Now if I increase the cross sectional area, the current will also increase, because more and more amount of the current, more and more number of electron will pass through it. So current density is defined as I upon A, that is electric current per unit cross sectional area. But this equation is applicable only when the cross section is held normal to the direction of the motion of the charges. So if I say electrons are flowing in this direction, so electric field is opposite to it. Now this cross sectional area or area vector is in the direction of the motion of electron, or you can simply say the cross section is held normal to the direction of the motion of charge. That is the case when we defined I is equal to Q by T and I is equal to dQ by dt. The cross section was held normal. So in that situation, J is defined as I upon A. But if the situation is like this, the cross section is like this. The cross section is, say, bent downward. Now in this situation, the electrons are flowing in a straight line. So this is the electron, or let us say this is a current, motion of the positive charge, conventional current. Now if I want to take a area, because here area is a vector quantity, we know that. So area vector of this cross section will be in a downward direction. So this comes out to be theta. So instead of the cross section like this is the cross section is bent downward. So in this situation, area vector and current are in the same direction. This is our cross section. But if the cross section is bent, area vector is downward. If the cross section is upward, then the area vector is in upward. In that situation, theta is an angle between the current and the area vector. Now one is a scalar quantity, other is a vector quantity. This is the direction of I. So I draw a perpendicular, or its component is a cos theta. So in this situation, J is defined as I upon A cos theta, where theta is angle between I and A. So this is a correct formula. But in this situation, area, vector and current makes an angle 0 degree. Cos 0 is 1. So we come to this formula. Now this equation can be written as I is equal to JA cos theta. Now the area is a vector quantity. Area is a vector quantity. I is a scalar quantity. So J should be a vector quantity so that we get a dot product of J and A. So I is also defined as J dot A. J dot A, where J is called as a new physical quantity, that is current density. So I have another formula at a microscopic level. It can also be called as the dot product of current density and the cross-sectional area. So sometime we write this equation as I is equal to integration J dot dA, where this is a surface integration like we have defined the flux. So this is the situation, because when we have to deal with this situation, the entire cross section is divided into small element, and if you remember, this element are known as the area element. So we find out first the current from a small cross section or a small area element, that is di. So it will be referred as JDA. Then I do its integration. So sometimes we are using a capital J symbol, or in some book we denote it by a small j. So this is a current density. So before we move on to this, we have to derive the equation current density is equal to sigma. Sigma is a conductivity and E is the electric field intensity. So this was the information about the current density. Remember, if this is the case, J is I upon A. If this is the situation, J is I upon A cos theta, or I is also defined as JA cos theta. SI unit of the current density is ampere per meter square. You write down its dimensional formula. So current density is current per unit area. Now let us define this microscopic Ohm's law. So the derivation is very simple. We know that R is equal to VI. See, I have to bring this quantity sigma, that is a conductivity. So it should be the reciprocal of resistivity. Resistivity comes from R. I need J, J comes from I. E also comes from V. So we start with this. This is a macroscopic formula. This is called as macroscopic. And rho, sigma, that are the or current density, they are the microscopic quantity for this branch. So I started with V is equal to R is equal to VI. Therefore, V is equal to IR. We start from Ohm's law. V is equal to IR. So we started with an Ohm's law. Now V is equal to R can be written as rho L upon A, that is R into I. Therefore, V is equal to rho L. Now I upon A is J, that is a current density. So J is equal to I by A is equal to a new term which is called current density. Now, when the potential difference of V is established, the electric field is E and the length of the conductor is L. So in this situation, E is written as V by L. So see, we started in chapter 1 that E is equal to minus general formula dV by dR. We started with this formula, and then we know that one is a vector quantity, other is a scalar quantity. So we found the component Ex is equal to minus del V upon del X like this. Then for a capacitor, we have defined, instead of this L, we have E is equal to V by D. Now for a conductor, the electric field across the conductor is equal to potential difference per unit length. So this V upon L is taken here. So V upon L is equal to rho J. Now this V upon L is equal to E is equal to rho J. So here we write electric field intensity for a conductor is V upon L. So this is one form. Now see, it is similar to the Ohm's law. E has a relation with V. Resistance has a relation with resistivity. Current has a relation with current density. So if you don't remember this equation, we all remember this Ohm's law. So in the place of V, I write E, because a battery or a cell only create an electric field intensity, or electric field is created when we connect a cell or a battery such that one is at high potential and other is at low potential. So instead of V, I will write E. I has a relation with current density, so J. R has a relation with rho. So this is one case. This case, now clearly the reciprocal of a resistivity is called conductivity. So E is equal to 1 upon sigma J. So J is equal to sigma E. So this is without considering any direction. And if we have to consider a direction, then J vector is equal to sigma into E vector, means whatever is the direction of electric field intensity, that will be the direction of the conventional current, and that will be the direction of the current density. So this is the reciprocal. Now you see that reciprocal means instead of V, we have a E. Then 1 upon R, that was conductance. So we have conductivity. I has a relation with J. So you remember I has a relation with J, V has a relation with E, and resistance has a relation with rho. So this is all about a microscopic Ohm's law. And what is an Ohm's law? The factors on which the resistance depends, what is conductance, resistance, resistivity, and finally the microscopic Ohm's law. So we wind up our lecture with this basic information about the Ohm's law. Have a good day.